Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. In this video we are taking a closer look onto the ZLOG color plugin. What is it useful and what you can actually adjust in it, you're gonna find out in this video. Coming up. Hi guys, my name is Paul, I'm a German filmmaker and this channel is all about filmmaking, gear reviews, but also Davinci Resolve tutorials. So if that's something that you're interested in, consider subscribe. I would really appreciate that. So I'm also a zcam owner, and also if you are a zcam owner or you aim to buy a zcam whatsoever, then this video is definitely for you. So really cool that zcam has an own plugin which you can download onto their website for free, and it's available for any editing software like Final Cut Pro, Premiere or Davinci Resolve. And here I'm gonna show you how it's working in Davinci Resolve and what you can actually adjust, and I found that this plugin is really helpful. So here we are inside of Davinci Resolve in the color tab, and I have here 3 different clips that we will take a closer look on right now. So to use that, we're gonna go over to Open Effects onto the left side, and then we scroll down until the very bottom, and then we see here ZLOG color. We drop that on and already it does something. So first of all, we need to adjust our input color space, and here it's basically by default it's set to ZLOG 2, which is true because I also shot this in ZLOG 2, but you can change it here however you want to. Then on the bottom, also very important, we have the output color space. So this is basically meaning in which color space it should transform it. You can choose also here Rec 709 or Rec 2020 whatsoever. I personally like the first one, zRGB AX2, and also zcam says that this is like very close to the ARRI look. I don't know if it's true, but I really like the look of it, so I'm gonna keep it. So let's come to the first. We have here exposure stops, my goodness, and it's in a third of a stop. So that means when we turn that down to -3, that's basically one f-stop lower. Same applies if we go up, but here actually the exposure is really good, and we can also see it in the parade that it looks decent, but it's also reflecting in the parade when we adjust it. Temperature wise, I think it's a little bit too cool, and if we want to warm it up we need to go down, so to the color temperature that is warmer, so that's basically lower. So it's a little bit counterintuitive, I know, because on the most editing software you're doing it in the other direction, but here I think this is that what is more correct on that. I also find it a little bit too magenta, so I add a little bit of green tint here, something like so. That looks more true to life to me. Then we have here the saturation slider. Basically can add saturation or leave as is. Then we have the gain here, which we can adjust the highlights, but here in this particular shot I don't want to mess with it because it looks good how it is. But anyway, you see how it is adjusting it. But I can see on the parade that I have plenty of room in the shadows. So in the lift tab I will bring my shadows down to add more contrast. So we'll basically just do that right now. That looks good for me. I would like to add a little bit more pop into the mid-tones because we are having a subject here, and therefore I want to give more on that in the midtones. That we can do by the gamma. I would recommend to apply gamma bias, that you can do it in finer increments and then just lift it up ever so slightly. And we see also in the parade the highlights stay where they are. It's just affecting the gamma, which is what we actually want. So I just bring it up a tad, and that's basically it. Then we have here 2 boxes at the very end. Purple edge remove makes the image really green, but I've set already in camera my tint to -10 to a little bit more green, so therefore I don't do that, but actually you can also just adjust it via the tint here. And also saturation correction, really interesting. It takes out a lot of red popping colors and a little bit of blue. In some situations I leave it in some I leave it out. I think here it looks natural as is. So let's take a closer look onto the two other shots that I have here. So I just basically do the same, just apply it. And it already looks good, but here I can directly see that this is too bright for me. So let's take the exposure down by 1 stop, and that also looks that looks good to me. Also here I think from the color side looks good. A little bit warmer, not too warm, looks good. I also adjust the tint as before, a little bit more green. And yeah, also I think we could add a little bit more saturation here. And also we see here, as before, we have plenty of room in the shadows, so we're gonna pull them down, not until they crush, but to have a little bit more contrast in the image. That's what I like. And also I can apply gamma bias to bring up my gamma just a tad, because we're having a subject here. Purple edge remove in this example, as I've said, makes no sense for me, but saturation correction works really well in this example, because here the most prominent thing is also like this this back here, and if we take saturation correction off, it's showing it a little bit too reddish, because in true life it is not that red. So if we just disable it or enable saturation correction, that is perfectly what I saw in real life. Yeah, and it looks good. So let's just basically quickly apply it to the last shot, because I think you already know. Yeah, exposure looks decent here. Bring it a little bit more, make it a little bit warmer. And yeah, also the lift here is a little bit too much for this example. Like this would be perfect. Yeah, I think that looks really awesome for me. So also that looks really nice, but I think it gives you a really good starting point to transform ZLOG really correctly into a normal color space, and then you can mess around with LUTs or any looks, and I think that works really well, and I highly suggest you to download it and try it out for yourself. If you have any further questions, you know that game, just drop them in the comments down below, and I'm gonna see you in my very next video. Cheers!